I came home from work yesterday and found my girlfriend's laptop open on the coffee table. This isn't unusual. She often works from home, but what caught my eye was the document she had open. The title, in big bold letters, read, "Our Future 5-Year Plan." My heart did a little flutter. We'd been together for 3 years, and things were serious, but we hadn't really sat down and mapped out the next 5 years in such a formal way. I felt a mix of excitement and curiosity. What had she envisioned for us? I knew I shouldn't snoop. It's a massive invasion of privacy. I really tried to walk away. I went to the kitchen, got a glass of water, and stared out the window. But the curiosity was eating me alive. I told myself it was about our future, so technically, I had a right to know, right? It was a weak justification, and I knew it. But I caved. I crept back over to the laptop, feeling like a spy in my own home, and started to read. The document was meticulously organized. Year 1, Year 2, and so on, each with bullet points for personal, professional, and relationship goals. I smiled as I read the first section. Year 1, Get Engaged, followed by a subpoint, Surprise Proposal in Paris, hint hint. I chuckled, classic Sarah. She'd always dreamed of a Paris proposal. Next to it was Move in together officially. We were practically living together already, but she wanted to make it official, get her name on the lease. That seemed reasonable. The rest of Year 1 was about her career goals, a promotion she was working towards, add savings plan for a house deposit. So far so good. This was all stuff we'd talked about. Then I got to Year 2, Plan the wedding. The details were incredible. She had venue ideas, a color scheme, lavender and sage green, and even a potential guest list. My name was right there at the top next to hers. A lump formed in my throat, but it was a happy one. Seeing it all laid out like this made it feel so real, so tangible. Then I saw the next point, adopt a golden retriever puppy. Name him Barnaby. I laughed out loud. We'd been looking at dog pictures for months, and Barnaby was her favorite silly name. The plan also included our first big trip as a married couple, a 2-week tour of Italy. I was completely on board. This was the future I wanted. Year 3 was titled The Baby Year. My eyes widened. Start trying for our first child. Wow. That was soon. We'd discussed kids, but always in a vague someday kind of way. Seeing it scheduled for Year 3 made my palms sweat a little. She'd even listed potential names. For a boy, Oliver, and for a girl, Charlotte. They were lovely names, but was I ready to be a dad in 3 years? It was a lot to process. The rest of the year was dedicated to buying our first house, hopefully in a quiet suburb with good schools. She'd even linked to a few real estate websites. The level of detail was both terrifying and incredibly endearing. Year 4 was expanding the family and career growth. The main goal was get pregnant with baby number 2. 2 kids in 2 years. My head was spinning. We'd go from a couple to a family of 4 in what felt like the blink of an eye. She also had career goals for me, which was a surprise. Encourage Matt to pursue his passion project. She was referring to an idea I had for a small woodworking business. I'd mentioned it once ages ago. The fact that she not only remembered but had factored it into our future plan. That hit me hard. It showed how much she believed in me. By the time I reached Year 5, I was an emotional wreck. The heading was Finding Our Groove. The goals were simpler now. Family vacation to Disney World. Weekly date nights, no matter how tired we are. Teach Oliver and Charlotte how to ride their bikes. It was a beautiful, idyllic picture of family life. The final point on the entire 5-year plan was simple. Be happy and in love. Just as I finished reading, I heard the front door open. It was Sarah. I slammed the laptop shut, my heart pounding in my chest like a drum. I felt so guilty. She walked in, grocery bags in hand, and smiled when she saw me. "Hey, you're home early," she said, kissing my cheek. I just nodded, unable to speak. She noticed the laptop. "Oh, oops, I forgot to close that." She laughed nervously. You didn't happen to see what was on the screen, did you?" My mind raced. Should I lie? Should I confess? The guilt was overwhelming. I took a deep breath and decided on the truth. "I did, Sarah. I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't have, but I saw the title and I couldn't resist." Her face fell. I thought she was going to be furious. "I'm really, really sorry," I repeated, my voice shaking a little. "It was a total invasion of your privacy." She looked at me, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then, to my complete surprise, she started to laugh. Not a small chuckle, but a full, genuine laugh. I was confused. "You're not mad?" I asked. She shook her head, wiping a tear of laughter from her eye. "Mad, no. I'm embarrassed. That was just my silly daydreaming document. I write stuff like that all the time. It helps me organize my thoughts so it's not real." I asked, a wave of disappointment washing over me, which was a strange feeling considering how panicked I was just moments before. "It's not like the official plan." She smiled and took my hand. "Well, it's not official until we both agree on it, right? I was actually going to talk to you about it this weekend. I was just trying to figure out what I wanted, what our future could look like." I guess it was my way of starting the conversation. A huge weight lifted off my shoulders. "The Paris proposal. Barnaby the golden retriever?" I asked. She grinned. "A girl can dream, can't she?" but a proposal in our living room would be just as perfect, and we can name the dog whatever we want, as long as he's fluffy. I pulled her into a hug, burying my face in her shoulder. What about the kids? I asked quietly. Oliver and Charlotte. She hugged me tighter. Hey, she said softly. That's a we decision. Year 3, year 6, whenever we're both ready, or if we decide we want a different path altogether. That document wasn't a demand, it was a draft. Our future is something we write together. Hearing her say that made everything click into place. The fear and pressure I'd felt reading the plan dissolved, replaced by an overwhelming sense of love and excitement. We spent the rest of the evening actually talking about the 5-year plan. We opened the laptop together, and this time, it felt right. We laughed at some of her more detailed points and had serious discussions about others. We adjusted timelines, added some of my goals, and even created a new section for spontaneous adventures. It was the most honest and productive conversation we've ever had about our future. By the end of the night, that document was no longer her plan, it was our plan. And while I still feel a little guilty for snooping, I can't help but be grateful that I did. It opened the door to a conversation that brought us closer than ever and got us started on building our real-life future, together. Turns out, my girlfriend's 5-year plan was the best thing I never knew I wanted.